everybody needs a CB radio in 2025. That's what I believe. I mean, I've been on CB since I was 10 years old. I use 11 meters all the time in the vehicle when I'm driving, talking across the state, the country, or the world. But maybe you're not into that. Maybe you want an affordable way to get into 11 meters with a radio that's decent to use on the road when you're doing that long trip with the RV across country, or you want something in your Go Kit that doesn't take up a lot of room, doesn't drain a lot of current, and it'll get you at least on the air locally for, 11 meters. Everybody's into prepping these days, and everybody wants something in a Go Kit. So two different things you could, and if you really wanted to, you could use this with an amplifier behind it, and you could make some contacts a long distance. But we're going to talk about the radios here that Radioddity had sent me months ago. I apologize for the delay. Had some things going on and took a break for a while from YouTube to get away from this for a while, and got some things to show you. So they sent me the Radioddity the CB-606 and the CB-606 Pro. Now, at first glance, they almost look identical. You may see that one's got different kind of backlit buttons than the other, and they're both backlit, but one's got a white screen, one's got an orange screen. Both of them are exactly the same size, pretty much. A couple differences, but what I'm going to do is show you the differences, give you an idea of, for a $49 radio, the 606, or a $69 radio, the 606 Pro. It's very affordable. I mean, you can't even go to Walmart and buy one of those crappy Cobra DX4s for that price. I mean, by the way, those Cobra radios these days, if you're listening to me, prove me wrong, because there's not one radio that comes out of a box out of a store like that is even usable these days. I'm not sure what they're doing with these things, but that's why everybody has to send them in to get them aligned and peaked and tuned and everything, because they just sound crappy out of the box. These are pretty good for what they are out of the box. I mean, I'll show you an audio test, and you can get on the air with minimal installation with a little radio like this. We'll call it the slice of bread. I mean, here's my hand, it's very small, very lightweight. If your wife doesn't want you putting this in the Toyota Camry when you're driving to Maine from Florida, well, I mean, you can hide this from her. It's pretty easy. You don't have to do some great elaborate setup with running power cables and drilling holes. This thing will fit pretty much anywhere. Now, I have both of these connected to a Bioenna battery just for display purposes. I'm going to turn that off real quick. I'm going to unhook this so I don't have a fire on my desk on video. Okay, and I'm going to show you here. Okay, like I said, I have these connected for video's sake to a power pole. They do come with flying leads just right in the back. They don't have the traditional 3-pin that comes out of the back. They're hardwired in with a fuse, and they're open-ended, so I just kind of taped them to this real quick. But both have a cord. Both have an SO239. Both have a speaker, external speaker port. Both come with a mounting bracket. Both come with your hardware kit. Both come with a manual. But this one has a heatsink on it, the Pro. And the Pro has a heatsink because, well, that's just an upgraded feature. Maybe you're long-winded. Maybe you use it a lot. Okay, so we put a heatsink on here to keep the finals cooler than normal. Maybe you're just wanting to listen a lot. Maybe you're just using it for a Go Kit for an absolute emergency and you're not going to be talking on this thing all the time. Maybe just the 606 will be right for you. Now, one thing about the difference with the radios, not only what I just said, is the microphones. Now, they're both using a 6-pin round microphone. However, the 606 comes with a little Radioddity speaker, a microphone rather, not a speaker mic. And it's very, very light, and it's a microphone. That's about it, like a Baofeng microphone, okay? I haven't seen one like this, but we're gonna test out the audio and show you what they sound like. Maybe you just need to say a couple words on there, and you're gonna mostly listen when you're on the vehicle driving. Well, maybe that's for you. Maybe you want something that's a little bit thicker, heavier, which would be with the 606 Pro comes this microphone. I think this is the same one that was on the CB-500 or CB-900, I think. So it's also got the channel up and down on here, so you can go through channels like that. But like I said, the mic's right in the front. We're going to test back and forth both mics to see what they sound like, all right? Both the speakers are down firing on the bottom, okay? Now, what I'll do is I'm going to fire these back up and show you some things in the menu, okay? Now, I will say one thing. Let me go through the specs here, right? These are AM and FM, 40 channel, just wait, AM, FM, 40 channel radios, 26.965 to 27.405. That is your 40 channels for AM and now FM per the FCC a few years ago in the United States. If you're thinking about a Go kit, right? These only draw 3 amps max current drain when you're transmitting. And receive current drain when you're squelched is 0.3 amps. Full volume, 0.7 amps. So I'm going to hold this up in case you want to if you want to pause the video for the specs. Okay, maybe somebody wants to see the specs, you can pause that. All right, so for somebody that's got a little bio-eno or a battery and it's in your Go kit or on your four-wheeler or on your Jeep or somewhere on your go-kart or your golf cart, or hell, I might put one of these on my little 100cc scooter I got in the garage that I ride to the store. That'd be pretty cool. Have a CB on my scooter. Maybe not, but the option does exist. So, like I said, the weight is very not, well, does it have the weight here? Yeah, 592 grams for the Pro, and the regular is 522 grams. So 60 grams more for the Pro because of that heat sink, okay? So if you're calculating your Go kit bag weight, that's what it weighs. And like I said, it's not that big at all, okay? All right, so let me fire this up and show you a couple things in the menu. And before I do that, I'm going to tell you that I will show you a mod that's in here. I'm not going to do the mod because it's not going to benefit me to do it. But the mod does exist, and it'll open it up from 24 to 30 megahertz transmit on AM and FM. So that you could, I wouldn't say 12 meters is useful for that, but 10 meters you could use for 10 meter FM, 29.5, 29.6, you know, or 10 meter AM, which would be a lot harder, but that's 29.0 to 29.2. Throw an amplifier behind it, you have a radio that'll talk. So for, you know, the basic person that doesn't know, how far could you get with this radio without an amplifier? With a decent antenna on the road, you know, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 miles, depending on what they have, you know, local communications. A lot of people want local communications. Could you hook an amplifier up to this, like a DX500 and talk into it? Sure, then you could talk across the country, across the world, absolutely. But for the sake of the video, Go kit or mobile operation on channel 19 or any channel, you know, let's say you're a Jeep club, four-wheeler club, this might be good. A lot better than buying a $300 CB that you're not going to use all those features, right? All right, so I'm going to fire these up. You'll notice that the Pro has the orange screen on it. The non-Pro has a white screen. So I think that screen is about 2 inches. What's the specs here? Tell me, in case you're wondering for visual eyesight. It does not show me the size of the screen, but I know the screen is about 2 inches, I think. So you'll notice that the buttons on this one, the whole button glows, you know, with the backlight that light up. So it's easier to see at night. I think a little bit easier to see at night on this one than on the Pro. Okay, the Pro has backlit, but the buttons are black, and it's got like an orange backlight. So first impression for me, what do I like better? I like this better, the way it looks. If it was up to me so far to choose, well, let's go, let me decide that. Now also, one thing that the Pro has that the non-Pro does not have is a noise blanker. Now in my vehicle, in my Nissan work truck, Nissan and the government and whoever else decides to have, you know, eco-friendly stuff and on-demand charging and eco-charging. Well, not electric, but I'm talking about the alternator, and electronics in that vehicle is terrible. So I have to have a noise blanker in order to use a CB radio or an HF radio in my vehicle because it gets way too noisy with the noise. If you're out in the field and you have a backpack and you're not around a lot of power lines and you're out on the top of a mountain or parks on the air or whatever, and you don't think you need noise blanker, the non-Pro may be good for you. Noise blankers right here. They both have scan. They both have AM, FM. They both have emergency channel 9 function button. But this one, if you hold this, you'll see a noise blanker pop up under the channel 19. What happens on the non-Pro? You get your Roger beep. Everybody needs a Roger beep. Or maybe not. Just be careful using a Roger beep on the channel 19 on the drivers, on the I-95 or wherever, because the drivers just hate that. They got the radio cranked all the way up, the squelch all the way up, and that thing comes blasting out with that tone. They hate it. So, basically, you know, AM, FM, if you hold it, you can go into PA mode which would be, I guess, your external speaker port in the back, would be for PA. If you use public address, if you need that loudspeaker in the front of your radio or the front of your vehicle going into high school and you're wearing Wranglers and shit kicker boots, please put the PA speaker on and yell at people in the parking lot. That's what we did in high school. Okay, so we'll turn that off, right? Also, they incorporated like an automatic squelch functionality, right? You could see, all right, turning it all the way counterclockwise is going to have an AQ, which is like a, what do they call it? Automatic quiet, automatic squelch. Open, and then you squelch up. The higher your squelch knob, the more effective the squelch, right? So the automatic squelch is something that President has. I can't compare this with the President radios, but you know, basically in your noise floor, wherever your surroundings are, the automatic squelch should squelch up just above the noise floor. If you need a higher squelch setting because you are, you know, right next to somebody driving and you want to, you know, just block out everything except the person that's closest to you, you'd crank that squelch up like this, all right? So not a channel indicator, I mean a channel knob, but a channel up and down, which is no big deal. Okay. In the menu, there's a couple of functions in here. All right, and not many, so it's very user friendly. You have your backlight brightness setting. So let's see, 4, 1, 2, 3. So if you're in a, you know, if you want it dim, leave it on 3, hit menu to confirm, okay? Next one would be your beep sound, if you want to turn that beep that you're hearing as I change. Your Roger beep, 1 through 6. So, of course, sounds just like the same Roger beeps as President radios, all right? So, it's got 6 different ones. You have your Vox sensitivity level, which would be here. Your Vox delay time, your timeout timer, and your automatic squelch level setting. Oh, there you go. So your Vox sensitivity, Vox delay time, that is, I guess, power. Okay, high power, right? That was not in the manual because I have the, let's see, which manual was that in? Yeah, I don't see that in the manual, guys. So that power for low and high is not in the manual. However, it's there. Let's see if it's on this one. Yeah, power output, high power, okay? So the last one here would be your timeout timer, okay? So if you're long-winded, you can turn that on. That's pretty much all the settings you'll need. And of course, your emergency channel 9 or 19. And I'll say this now, channel 9 emergency button is on every CB radio since the 70s. You're not ever getting help on there. If the FCC is listening, I talk on channel 9 all the time. Usually it's Spanish people, but there's been people on channel 9. There's no emergency police department listening to that. So, but you know, what I'm trying to say is this, for those who are already shutting the video off because of what I just said. Do not think in 2025 that that is going to save your life. Just please have another route of information and emergency communication. Channel 9 is not, if you can call a 9 all day long, nobody's monitoring to come bring you gas or water or your vehicle's on fire on the side of the road. That was in the 70s. It doesn't happen now. That's just the reality. It's not what I said. That's reality. Okay. All right. So, again, AM, FM, PA, your scan, how fast does it scan? There's how fast it scans. All right. So, what I would say if it was me and I needed to purchase one of these, I would say for me, for my needs, this one and the way this looks, the CB-606 would be just fine. But the noise blinkers got me. So I would say the CB-606PRO is probably what you'd want in a vehicle in a mobile environment. If you're using this for anything else, probably the 606, unless you're in a noisy environment at your house. All right, so let me do this. Let me plug the microphones in and somehow use a scanner or another radio around here in my vehicle to see how different those microphones sound.
All right, so I got to say, these speakers on these radios sound really good. This is an FM mode. but I'm out in my truck now. What I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to reverse this, put the camera outside, and let you hear what those two microphones sound like. They actually both sound identical. So I would assume that the bigger one will be better sounding, but they both sound good. So let's see what happens there.
Okay, this is the little microphone, the thin one that came with the 606 12345 54321. Sounds really good for what it is. I'm going to switch to the bigger mic that came with the 606 Pro. Stand by. Okay, this is the bigger mic that came with the 606 Pro 12345 4321. Doesn't sound bad at all. I'd say if you have the 606 with the little microphone, it's going to do you just fine. 382 Florida Mobile.
Okay, so do this mod on your own. I've never done this mod on here. I'm just reading stuff online and what I see, okay? But I'm not going to do it on these, but I will grab my diddle stick, if you know what that is. And I will show you if I could zoom in. Let me see if I can zoom in. All right. When you open this radio, here's the front, here's the cable, right? All right, let me see if I can get up and show you. All right. Behind, there it is. Behind this ribbon cable, there are little solder pads here. From my understanding, this one right here, okay, which if you're looking at it, it's the one toward the capacitor here, okay? There's two capacitors here. If you bridge this pad right here, that should give you export mode. This is the 606 Pro. Let me look on the 606 here. Non-Pro. Same place. Let's see. It's hard to do this looking in the camera. There we go. Okay. Right there. See those two? Again, that's the side closest to the capacitor. If you solder those two, apparently that is export mode. We're not going to do that, but when you then turn it on, you're going to see different bands, A through L, I guess it is. D is your regular 27 megahertz, and L, I think, would be up to 10 meters, and A would be 12 meters, I think. All right, so I'm going to get these back together, just talk for a second. So, you know, for $49, guys, for the 606 non-Pro, or $69 for the Pro version. I think that this is a great sounding little radio. I have not, you know, put it on the air yet and asked people for range reports and all that. You know, I trust that this thing puts out some sort of RF. I could hook it to my service monitor and do all that if I wanted to, but I think we've had enough discussion on these radios today. I want to thank, I already put the screws in that one. I want to thank Radioddity for sending these, and I want to apologize for the delay in making the video. You know, the idea of these videos is, you may say, well, Eric, what about all these, you know, new ICOMs and new Kenwoods and stuff? We don't want to see this. Well, there's a video for everybody. There's a lot of people out there that can't afford these brand new big radios they come out with, but there's a lot of people, especially, think of this, guys. Think if you can get your 14 or 15-year-old son into radio with a $49 radio, and his buddy has one, and they start talking across town with this thing, you know, from their bedroom window to bedroom window. Let them experiment. If they burn it up, it's cheap enough to buy another one. And when you burn it up, that's when you learn. I've made many antennas when I was 11 years old that didn't work, or they worked only for a few minutes until the finals gave up on the older radios. But, you know, I think that there's a great place for this, for these radios here. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope it made sense. I hope you enjoyed the mediocre, at best, audio test with the microphones. And let me know what you think. 382 Florida Mobile. We're standing by.